Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you know, we are almost 2 years away from Microsoft ending support for Windows 10. On October 14th, 2025, Microsoft will end support for Windows 10, meaning it will no longer receive security updates of any kind from Microsoft. With this end of support comes the inevitable end of support from third-party developers. Since 1.5 billion people, including businesses, hospitals, and schools like my very own still use Windows 10, it would not make sense for developers to end support for Windows 10 so soon. However, in this video, we are going to be estimating when developers of various different types of software, including web browsers and antivirus softwares, will end support for Windows 10. As you know, I already made a video like this on Windows 7. In fact, we will be using Windows 7 as a comparison for Windows 10. As just like Windows 10, Windows 7 has seen high levels of popularity and usage. Do keep in mind that the projections I'm giving in this video are just estimates, so take it with a grain of salt. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. To help us get an insight into the market shares of Windows 7 and 10, we will be using a chart from StatCounter. We will set the range from January 2015 to today, and the region to North America. The purple line represents Windows 10's market share, and the yellow line represents Windows 7's market share. The reason we are using market share data is because it makes more sense for developers to use market share to determine when they should cut support, as opposed to just looking at how old an operating system is. We will be looking at Windows 7's market share at each point when a major piece of software lost support for Windows 7. Then we will be using current data to determine at what point Windows 10 will reach the same level of market share. As you can see, Windows 7 peaked in July of 2015 with a market share of about 61%. After that point, Windows 7 saw a relatively consistent decline in market share over the next few years. By the time Windows 7 lost support in January of 2020, it had a market share of just under 18%. When major antivirus companies like McAfee ended support for Windows 7, market share was just under 7%. Web browsers like Chrome ended support earlier this year when market share was just under 4%. However, to this day, most antivirus programs continue to support Windows 7, and Norton even offers maintenance mode for older Windows versions. As for word processing, most programs like Microsoft 365 no longer support Windows 7, with Microsoft 365 updates ceasing in January earlier this year. Currently, Windows 7 has a market share of just 2.5%. Now that we have analyzed Windows 7's market share trends, we can now focus our attention to Windows 10. Windows 10's market share peaked in December of 2021 with 89% market share. So far, Windows 10 has a market share of about 67%. Between June of 2022 and June of this year, Windows 10's market share has decreased by 11%. Given Windows 7's consistent decline in market share, we will assume that Windows 10's market share will decrease at a rate of 11% every year. This rate of decline could be greater in real life though, given how imminent Windows 10's end of support is. This graph demonstrates this downward trend estimate. Since Windows 7 is still supported by most antivirus software even with its low market share, it's safe to say that the earliest Windows 10 will lose support from major antivirus developers is mid-2029. In fact, early to mid-2029 seems like a reasonable time for other forms of software like word processors and web browsers to end support for Windows 10, as the market share will be below 5%. Also, Windows 10 will be at a similar age as Windows 7 today, 14 years old. Keep in mind, this is speculation based on arbitrary projections, but seems reasonable as, at this point, Windows 10 will have been out support for years. Another thing to take into account is the fact that Windows 7 users were offered an extended support package from Microsoft which lasted 3 years. If Microsoft chooses to do the same for Windows 10, which would be a smart move in my mind, it would extend Windows 10's de facto end of support date all the way up to October 2028. Therefore, 2029 sounds like a reasonable time for developers to end support for Windows 10. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're still using Windows 10, you should be good for about another 5 to 6 more years. Again, these projections are estimates and I could be way off. So if my YouTube channel takes off, I may make a video a few years from now where I will look back at this video and see how right or wrong I am. If you like this video, please press the like button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can keep making more of these videos, and share this video with any of your friends or family members who still use Windows 10. Bye!